broad power, and she doesn't even look like she's extending that far back, does she?
No, and you look at her vertical leap, to put it charitably, say credit card. She doesn't get off her feet that much, but then at 1.97 meters, you don't need to. A little long look, huh?
Yes, Chu Ai-Hwa looking to go line. Missed it long and wide.
But I think she's got a great future ahead of her. Zhao, only 17 years old. What a great baptism of fire this is for her.
Dink shot right into a bevy of Dutch defenders. Down the line. So that touch shot starting to get countered by the Dutch defense.
Now we saw the backcourt of China. They're not moving. Zhao in the middle, the back middle, not covering on that right side.
Strapping down set, and the net violation. I believe Chu Ai-Hwa on the follow through might have clipped the net.
Yeah, going to the well a little bit too often there. The Dutch girl's there to defend it. She saw that it was defended and really nowhere to put it.
Hu Jin, the Chinese coach, calls for a timeout. Standing directly behind him, the old #1 for China, Lai Ya-Wen. We watched her lead the Chinese attack for a lot of years. She is now a therapist, oblique trainer for the Chinese. Hu Jin himself, relatively new addition to the Chinese staff, taking over for the legendary Long Ping.
Yeah, it was announced after the Asian Games that Long Ping would retire. She put this team together, and the success that they have, reaching all the way up to #2 in the world, can be directly attributed to her.
When she took over the women's volleyball program in China, it was in disarray. She restored order and brought them back to the top of the world. Here, though, trailing the Dutch, Wu Yangmei picks up a point for China.
Off that quick set there, supplied by Chi.
We're going to bring Ho
come back
Chi
in,
along with Chen Jing, the 23-year-old. Both Chen and He out of the Jiangsu province. Back setting there and dump. Pancake save. This is a live ball. Li Yan, the libero, bumps it over. Flutterhouse into position on the set. Going off the net. China loads up on the left. As so often happens, you concede the free ball, you're going to taste leather.
That's right, and that's exactly what happened. The Dutch in disarray that time, scrambling to get the ball back after initially the Chinese in that same position. However, China doing a much better job of rotating back into their positions.
See 3 Chinese women on their knees anticipating that spike. They answer right back. Good example of transitioning quickly from defense to offense.
Right, and China, one of the best in the world at doing that.
They're within 1 at 12-13. Chu Ai-Hwa, spike serve, right down the middle. Flutterhouse goes over for Leenstra, who leans on it. Dutch again, spreading it out. Not quite able to bring that one back in. I called her Leenstra. It was actually Shane Stallings. My apologies to the entire Stallings family.
And now the Dutch are going to have to take a timeout. You can see the Chinese starting to congregate around Stallings every time she gets near the ball. They have identified her as a danger person on the Dutch team, and they're going to start corralling her. So it's going to be up to the Dutch to find some complementary weapons in their arsenal. See the double blocking right there. Good coverage on the right side by the libero, Li Yang, to keep the ball in play.
As Chuck Schreiner invokes the politically correct danger person. That's Stallings. And a few times she has been blocked cleanly by the Chinese.
And to be honest, it's taken them long enough to figure it out.
Chu into the net. Netherlands lead 14-13. Arina Machovac, who plays volleyball back in Europe in the Spanish league for Albacete. Oh, booming shot! An absolute rocket off the right arm of He Chi. Normally a setter, she shows her power.
Now China's starting to have a lot of success close in at the net on those short sets.
Answering right back, the left-handed shot from Marina Machovac.
Machovac doing everything with that left-handed shot from the right. We've seen her hit winners from every angle on the court.
A dink shot there, and Stallings had already committed herself to backing up on the spike blocking.
Now with these short sets, what it has forced Holland to do is get away from the net a little bit. Remember that entire first set and most of the second set, they have owned that portion of the court. Not so now. China comes back with a blistering block. Coming to life.
And we are tied now at 15.
China, Sean, so much of the 20th century being attributed the phrase sleeping giant. Very appropriate phrase, because here they are in the second set. It looked like for a while there, even in the second set, they were out of it. Rumblings of life coming back, and look how well the Chinese blockers are there, following the play, not like they were doing in the first set.
That was Chen Jing all by herself, nullifying the attack of Chane Stallings. You can see Pierre Matteau talking it over. Real contrast from the two coaches we saw earlier tonight, Bernardo Rezende and the Italian coach, Angiolino. That's right, Frigoni. They, by contrast, very animated, quick to jump on the girls. Both Hu Jin and Pierre Matteau, meanwhile, more teachers, aren't they?
Yeah, and just for my money's worth, I prefer a teaching coach. You know, the girls have emotions enough, or guys, whatever the case. And what you need to do is keep things positive. And I think a quiet demeanor, a teaching demeanor, goes a long way in getting your goals across to your players, more than just ranting and raving. Of course, all players respond to different types of coaching. And different cultures have different temperaments, for that matter.
Correction on the score. I said we were tied at 15. That was the technical timeout as China moved in front 16-15.
Great backcourt digging that time by China. They're getting into the action there. Number 16, Lin Wenzhen, with the kill on the left-hand side. I think that's her first one of the match.
So China moving front by 2. The Dutch having difficulty blocking cleanly now. There, Li Yan sent sprawling, and I think if she had had time, she would have barreled out of the way, and that ball would have sailed wide.
Yes.
Stallings plays in the Dutch league for Vacopa. Down the left and left alone. Stallings with the good eye. Remember, this is an 18-year-old playing with real savvy.
Very impressive player. I thought for the first set, at least, she was the best player on the court on either side.
Chu. I don't know if Chu knew where she was on the floor in relation to the net, because that was a very weak shot. Dutch lead 18-17.
A little bit of miscommunication, I think, between her and He Chi. Set did not have the arc that she was expecting.
Pushed up into the middle. Weak return from the Dutch. And the libero, Ellen Koopman, can't get there in time.
Great cutter that time by number 10, Chen Jing. So everybody at least attempting to get into the act for China. Like we said before, they're going to have to come up with more offense now with the absence of their star, Sun Yue.
To borrow a basketball analogy, Hu Jin has elected to go big, bringing Zhao back into the lineup. shuffling up, countered nicely by the Dutch. Bump up over to the far side. Leferink, net violation called on the Chinese. So, the 17-year-old making the mistake. It's getting late in the second set.
And you can see Hu Jin's philosophy for bringing Zhao back into the game, blocking in the middle. They go right around her on nearly every spike attempt. Zap cutter finds home.
That ball went long, but not before it was touched by the Dutch defender. We're tied at 19. Blocked, but they couldn't keep it inside. 2019, a very tight second set. We'd expect nothing less after set one went all the way to 31-29.
Well, that time Lindstrom going straight into the gut of the Chinese blocking tandem, getting away with it.
Blocked, but it dropped out. So a mirror image of the previous shot. 20 up your score here in set two. Zhao, routine floater. There's Stallings, and China now does not want to start just trading points with the Netherlands, do they?
Right, that's right. They had established some sort of rhythm, some sort of motion in the middle with those short sets. For some reason, they've gotten away from that. They're going to have to get it back. They're going to have to find somewhere on the court where they can score consistently. Oh, boy.
That goes outside.
So number 4 for China,
Mikasa,
Young Ying.
A Mikasa tattoo for Els Leferink and her efforts. Big shot, Li Yan doing the job of the libero. And there is a game turner right there.
Brilliant little drop shot that time, dink shot, whatever you want to call it. Wu Yongmei, only 24 years old, but tons of international experience. We've seen her, this is her 3rd year on the Chinese team.
Trying to keep it going.
Yes.
Yes, a little creativity on the spot from Wang Li Na, and China now lead 23-21. Pierre Matteau has seen enough. He calls timeout.
Yeah, it's amazing how these Chinese veterans, and we use the word veteran very carefully. Wang Li Na, only 21 years old, but also her 3rd year on this squad, out there being a cheerleader, as well as hitting these little winners, these little dink shot winners, and they all count.
As a team, China average under 23 years of age, and they've only got one player that's older than 27. That's Li Yan, the libero. So young age, but loads of international experience, and that means, of course, China a world power now and for years to come.
I think so, and you know, we mentioned that their average age under the age of 23, 22.9, and they're already number 2 in the world.
23-22. Once again, the rally point system at play. China 2 points away from tying it at a set apiece. Serve goes into the net, and immediately the Netherlands back within 1, and they have the serve. Very different game now.
Certainly is. A lot of pressure on this serve right now.
Not the best of first touches.
Hear the crowd calling for a parry.
Blocked, and it drops inside. So China get away with one. And Chuck, they've got a set point.
They do. And again, the pressure on the block. We saw that illustrated in the first set, although they lost the first set. Keeping them in the set. Just fantastic blocking when it really matters.
China scrambling. There's Wu. Netherlands playing it very safe. Block and off the left arm of Zhu Yanying.
And that girl Stallings again, challenging, double blocking, coming out on top.
So a big point here. The Dutch serving, trailing by